So, how, as a fighter and an athlete, how was that transition from Southside MMA to freestyle, where you're training with one of the world's best in Alexander Volkanovski?
Yeah, it's surreal. Like it was surreal because obviously, I'll be honest, before I moved, because initially I was up in North Queensland, in the sort of first gym I started at, and then I made the move to Brisbane, joined Southside MMA, and I was there for like maybe, I think I was at Southside for like maybe two or probably 3 years, and that was a sort of a crucial step in my journey for me because the first time I actually was I was in a gym and I actually felt like at home and I felt like happy across the board with my coaching, with my training, and I felt like my coaches were actually sort of invested into me. So that 3 year sort of stint there, that kind of you know the leaps of improvement I made, the sort of fights I had and everything, that those are all factors that came into getting me to where I'm at now, but also like making me a better fighter to the point where I'm at now. So then a year ago when I came down to freestyle, it was like the opportunity. I mean, the opportunity for me to do that came as a result of the work that I was doing when I was at Southside, under Paul. Like you know, you that all led to where I'm at now with freestyle. And then a year ago, I was kind of like, I was looking at sort of what was ahead for me, and I was kind of like, all right, got to talking with Volko. I think he was in camp for the second Holloway fight, I believe. It was right, with COVID and everything factored in. I was actually going to potentially come down to be part of that camp. COVID kind of put the brakes on that because traveling kind of ceased and there was all that sort of stuff.
So, does he just call you? Does he just text you? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, it was kind of like it was just it was more it just came up sort of conversationally more than anything, and then I think looking at it was like being how tall I am for the weight class, the sort of build that I have, and that it's pretty similar to Max. Like he's pretty tall for the weight class as well, and stuff like that. So I feel like it's just more so from Alex's point of view, looking at it going like, well, here's a similar body type that I can utilize to prepare myself for this guy. It didn't end up panning out because of COVID and that sort of stuff. But then I was so set on coming down here, like I was kind of okay. Well, maybe I should just move down.
Yeah.
But then I was talking to Joe and Alex about it, and then they said, why don't you come down for a couple of days, check out the gym, train. We can sort of factor this all in. And then it just so happened that when I came down, they had like their fight team tryouts happening. It was over like 2 days or whatever. So I was here for that time, just jumped in, got after it, met a bunch of people, trained, did all this sort of stuff. And then it was like the week after that, I was back up in Queensland, and then they kind of called me and were like, yeah, we want you to come down and be part of the team. And then I was sitting there going, well, this is a big factor for me to sort of take into consideration. Like pack up and just move down. But
weren't you jumping for joy?
I was
weren't
super
you
stoked,
screaming on your balcony?
Yeah, I was very happy. I would like as soon as I knew that they were like, all right, well, we want you to come down, I was kind of like, all right, well, I've got to do this. Packed up everything, moved down, and just didn't look back. And then I showed up here. I was in camp. I was matched to fight on Eternal against Michael Barber. Volk was in camp doing his first camp for Ortega. Obviously, the boys ended up getting COVID. There was a bunch of craziness that happened, so the fight got pushed back. But I came down. My first session, like proper session at freestyle, when I moved down, they were already he was already 3 weeks into his camp for Ortega. I was like just starting my camp for my fight on Eternal, which was like scheduled for just after when he was meant to fight. But I just remember walking into the gym, and there was like this moment of just realizing like, yeah, I'm in the right place. Like this, like I said, in hindsight, this is where I should have been. If I could have been here from the start, I can only imagine where I'd already be now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But then I was like, all right, well, I'm here now. Like, I'm blessed to be here. I'm fortunate to be here. Like, let's absorb it. I walked in. There's a sparring session for the first session. Keep in mind at this point they were already like 3 weeks into their camp. So, and there wasn't a case of like we're not gonna like wait for you to sort of catch up to where we're at. It's like you're just straight into the deep end. So I walk into the gym, chuck my stuff off for sparring. We've got like Josh Coolabell on the mat, Jamie Malarkey, obviously Volko, my other teammate Colby Thickness. You've got like Blake Donnelly, you know, Arlene Blanco. You've got all these like top athletes like on the mats and in this sparring session, and just, you know, so I was kind of, there was no opportunity to sort of, you know, ease your way into it. And I just remember there was this moment where I did like my first round of the vault, and obviously I hadn't sparred him before, he'd never sparred me before. So like there's that factor of like you sort of don't know what to expect. And like I moved around, like had this first round with him, and then I remember I like went away, sparred like maybe 2 more rounds or something like that, came back to spar him again, and he just had an answer for everything. I couldn't do anything. And I just remember being like, what is going on? Like everything I was trying to do, and he just like, yeah, he had about 4, 5, 6 options to counter that and just deal with it. And then obviously, you know, and then that's when I remember just like after that round, I just remember going, oh, okay, so that's the level that you have to be at to be a world champion. Like that's where you have to aspire to get to. And then I just remember like thinking, holy shit, and I'm going to be able to like train with this dude every day and absorb that and obviously learn from that. So, and then I was just like, all right, I'm
that
so
would have been
stoked.
such like a pinch me moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm sparring Alexander fucking Volkanovski.
Yeah. And now, like I said, to your fair, now it feels like I've been here for like just over a year, but it feels like I've been here for like years now, and I just feel, you know.
So what do you think? That first round, he was just downloading information, and he was just looking at your habits, or
literally, I think, yeah, he was. From my point of view, I was trying to obviously, you know, spar and do what I do, but for him, he was just, yeah, downloading data pretty much. And I mean, people like, obviously he's very talented, and obviously the dude can fight, and his
so I've heard
his physical attributes are just insane. Like he's a freak athlete, and even though he doesn't consider himself to be a freak athlete, I'll say it for him, he's a freak. Like the dude's a freak. But his fight IQ is just ridiculous.
I think what you said before was very true, in that that's the level that you have to be at in order to be in the UFC and be a UFC world champion.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?